Imagine meeting a woman who never raises her voice to demand, respect never chases attention, and never begs anyone to stay, yet somehow she becomes the one people remember long after they are gone. Have you ever wondered why that happens? It is not because she is the most beautiful. It is not because she is the richest. It is because she understands one truth that most people discover too late. The way you allow others to treat you becomes the standard they believe they can keep. Every relationship begins with excitement because respect is never created by words. Because respect is never created by words. It is created by boundaries. A wise woman understands that if she keeps sacrificing her peace just to make someone else comfortable, she is teaching them that her feelings matter less than theirs. The moment this becomes normal, the relationship slowly loses its balance. Many people believe love means giving endless chances. They believe patience will eventually change the other person. But patience without standards is not love. It is self-neglect. Every time you ignore repeated disrespect, because I will stay no matter how message that says, I will stay no matter how you treat me. Once someone believes that your value begins to fade in their eyes, not because they are evil, but human nature protects what it never fears losing. This is why emotionally strong women are different. They do not waste their energy trying to convince people to respect them. They simply decide what they will accept and what they will never allow into their lives. That decision becomes their greatest source of confidence. Confidence from knowing that no relationship is worth abandoning yourself for. Think about the people who always seem calm under pressure. They are not calm because life is easier for them. They are calm because they know their standards before emotions take control. A wise woman never waits until she is deeply hurt to decide what is acceptable. She makes that decision long before anyone enters her life. That is why she is difficult to manipulate. She does not confuse attraction with love. She does not confuse attraction with commitment, and she never mistakes empty promises for genuine character. She understands that but consistent actions reveal the truth. Every person can say, I. Consistizing can say, I care about you, but only a few will prove it through respect, honesty, and loyalty. This is where most relationships begin to separate. Some people become attached to potential while others pay attention to reality. A wise woman never falls in love with the person someone promises to become. She pays attention to the person standing in front of her today because character is not built through excuses. It is revealed through daily choices. The strongest women are not the ones who control others. They are the ones who have learned to control themselves. They know when to speak. They know when to speak. They know when to stay silent. And most importantly, they know when to walk away. Because protecting your peace is never a sign of weakness. It is the highest form of self-respect. And once a woman truly understands this lesson, everything about her presence begins to change. Most people believe that love becomes stronger when you give more and ask for less. But life teaches a very different lesson. A relationship without respect slowly becomes a place where one person keeps sacrificing while the other keeps expecting more. This does not happen overnight. It begins with small moments that seem harmless, a broken promise that is ignored, a hurtful comment that is forgiven too quickly, a boundary that is crossed without a consequence. Little by little, woman notices these patterns before they become habits because a wise woman notices these patterns before they become habits because she knows that what you tolerate today becomes the standard of tomorrow. One of the greatest mistakes people make is believing that they can change someone through love. They think that if they become more patient, more understanding, or more forgiving, the other person will suddenly become different. But real change never comes from pressure, and it never comes from fear. It comes from personal choice. A person who truly values you will not wait until they lose you before they start respecting you. They will show that respect through their daily actions, because genuine care is always visible in consistent behavior. This is why a wise woman never argues with reality. She listens carefully to what actions are telling her. If someone says they care, but repeatedly makes her feel unimportant, she believes the actions, not the words. If someone promises loyalty, but continues to break trust, she believes the behavior, not the excuses. This simple habit protects her heart from unnecessary pain because she understands that people reveal themselves over time if you are willing to pay attention. Many people confuse being kind with having no limits. They think saying yes to everything makes them lovable. In truth, endless availability often removes appreciation. When something is always there without conditions, it slowly becomes taken for granted. A wise woman knows that her time, her energy, and her emotional peace are valuable. She shares them with people who protect them, not with people who constantly drain them. This is not selfishness. It is emotional maturity. There is another truth that many people avoid because it feels uncomfortable. Not everyone who enters your life deserves to stay. Some people arrive only to teach you the importance of your own standards. They show you what happens when you ignore your intuition. They remind you why self-respect must always come before temporary happiness. Instead of seeing these experiences as failures, a wise woman sees them as lessons that make her stronger, wiser, and more peaceful. The strongest boundary is often the quietest one. It does not require shouting, threatening, or proving a point. Sometimes the most powerful response is simply changing your direction. Walking away from repeated disrespect is not giving up. It is choosing yourself over endless disappointment. The moment you stop begging for the treatment you deserve, you begin attracting people who naturally offer it. That is why true strength is never about controlling another person. It is about having the courage to protect your own peace, even when your emotions try to convince you to settle for less. Because in the end, the woman who refuses to abandon her values becomes the woman no one easily forgets. There comes a moment in every relationship when emotions are no longer enough. The excitement begins to fade, the sweet words become familiar, and the real character of a person slowly starts to appear. This is the moment where many people become disappointed because they realize they were in love with an image instead of the truth. A wise woman understands that attraction may bring two people together, but character is what determines whether they stay together. She never allows temporary emotions to silence permanent values because she knows that feelings change, principles remain. One of the quietest forms of strength is the ability to walk away from what no longer brings peace. Most people stay in unhealthy situations because they fear being alone. They convince themselves that something is better than nothing. They accept disrespect because loneliness feels more painful than disappointment. But a wise woman sees loneliness differently. She knows that being alone for a season is far healthier than losing herself in a relationship that slowly destroys her confidence. She would rather spend time rebuilding her own life than spend years trying to earn love that should have been freely given from the beginning. This is why she never competes for attention. She never chases someone who keeps sending mixed signals. She understands that genuine interest never needs to be forced. When someone truly values your presence, you do not have to remind them of your worth every single day. Their actions naturally make you feel respected, appreciated, and emotionally safe. Anything less than that deserves careful attention, because confusion is often the first sign that something is out of balance. A wise woman also understands the power of silence. She does not react to every insult, every misunderstanding, or every moment of disappointment. She knows that constant emotional reactions only give more energy to unnecessary conflict. Instead, she observes, she listens, she watches patterns, because patterns reveal intentions more clearly than emotional conversations ever can. People may hide the truth with beautiful words, but they cannot hide consistent behavior forever. Time always exposes what emotions try to ignore. Many people think confidence comes from external success, from beauty, from wealth, or from admiration. But real confidence is much deeper. It comes from knowing that your happiness is not controlled by another person's choices. It comes from waking up every morning with the certainty that your peace cannot be bought, manipulated, or taken away by someone else's approval. This kind of confidence changes everything because it allows a woman to love without becoming dependent, to care without losing herself, and to forgive without accepting repeated disrespect. The most unforgettable women are not those who demand attention. They are the ones who remain true to themselves even when life becomes difficult. They refuse to lower their standards just because someone attractive entered their life. They understand that a relationship should add peace, not remove it. It should create trust, not constant anxiety. It should inspire growth, not endless emotional exhaustion. When a woman lives by these principles, she becomes rare, because in a world where many people desperately seek validation, she quietly chooses self-respect above everything else, and that silent decision becomes more powerful than anything she could ever say. In the end, every relationship asks the same question. Will you protect your own in peace, or will you sacrifice yourself just to keep someone else comfortable? The answer to that question shapes your future more than any romantic promise ever could. A wise woman understands that love is never measured by how much pain she can endure. Love is measured by the respect, trust, honesty, and consistency that two people choose to give each other every single day. She never believes that suffering is proof of devotion, because real love should never someone to lose their identity just to be accepted. There is something deeply powerful about a woman who knows her worth. She walks into every relationship with an open heart, but also with clear standards. She is kind without being naive. She is compassionate without allowing herself to be used. She forgives honest mistakes, but she never ignores repeated patterns of disrespect, because she understands that every decision she makes is teaching people how they are allowed to treat her. The standards she protects today become the life she experiences tomorrow. Many people spend years searching for the perfect partner while forgetting to become the kind of person who naturally attracts healthy relationships. A wise woman begins with herself. She strengthens her mind before she offers her heart. She builds confidence that does not depend on compliments. She creates happiness that does not depend on another person's attention. Because of this, she never enters a relationship hoping someone else will complete her. She enters knowing she is already complete, and that the right relationship should bring growth, not rescue. This is the lesson that changes everything. The strongest boundary is not built to push love away. It is built to protect the love that deserves to stay. People who respect your values will never fear your boundaries. In fact, they will appreciate them, because healthy people understand that respect creates freedom, while disrespect destroys trust. The wrong people may leave when they realize they cannot control you, but the right people will stay because they admire your honesty, your strength, and your self-respect. So never apologize for choosing peace over chaos. Never feel guilty for walking away from repeated disrespect. Never believe that lowering your standards will make someone love you more. The people who truly belong in your life will never ask you to abandon your dignity just to keep them comfortable. Remember this one truth, because it has the power to transform every relationship you will ever have. The moment you're discovering the value that was always inside you, that quiet confidence becomes your greatest strength and your strongest protection. Strongest does. Because a woman who refuses to betray herself can never be controlled by fear. And that is exactly why she becomes unforgettable. Not because she tries to make someone obsessed with her, but because genuine self-respect leaves a lasting impression that no temporary attraction can ever replace. If this message spoke to you, remember that real strength begins the moment you decide that your peace, your dignity, and your values are no longer negotiable. And from that day forward, of the respect you first learned becomes a reflection of the you first learned to give yourself. This completes the 4-part speech in a continuous narration style suitable for a YouTube voiceover.